I am 73 years old, and I'm about to tell you something that might just pull the rug out from under you. Everything you think you know about aging is total nonsense. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is that the people who were supposed to warn you, parents, your teachers, society at large, they are either lying to you or they're just as lost as you are. You see, I spent the first half-century of my life believing the same lies you probably believe right now. I thought I had it all figured out. The career, the house, the respect of my colleagues, the whole success package. But at 52, something happened that shattered my worldview into a million pieces. What I've learned in the 21 years since has completely flipped my perspective on life, death, and everything in between. But before I tell you what happened, understand one thing. I'm not recording this video to impress anyone or to play the part of the wise old man. I'm doing this because my time is running out, and there are things you absolutely need to hear before it's too late. Not for my sake, for yours. When I was 52, I had what doctors call a cardiac event. Behind that dry clinical term is the simple fact. My heart tried to kill me. I was sitting in a meeting discussing quarterly reports when the room suddenly started to spin. The next thing I remember is a hospital bed, tubes sticking out of my veins, and my wife crying in the corner of the room. The doctor told me I was lucky. Lucky. I had just looked my own death in the eye, and they called it luck. But you know what? They were right. Because lying there, staring at the ceiling, alone with my thoughts, I realized a terrifying truth. I had spent my entire life on autopilot. I wasn't really living. I was just performing functions, checking boxes, and trying to live up to everyone else's expectations. And here is the thought that haunts me to this day. If I had died that afternoon, if my heart had stopped for good, what would I have left behind? A nice house? A 401k? A collection of awards and achievements that no one would even remember 5 years later? Let me call out the main lie you're whispering to yourself right now. I have time. I'll do it later. Once I'm older, then I'll live the way I want. I see 20-somethings, 30-somethings, even people in their 40s, all saying the same thing. Once I make more money, then I'll be happy. Once I get that promotion, I can finally breathe. Once the kids are grown, I'll travel. Once I retire, I'll finally do what I love. Let me save you 50 years of regret with one simple truth. That day is never coming. Do you know why? Because the finish line is constantly moving. You get the promotion, and immediately you feel you need the next one. You hit the salary goal you dreamed of, and suddenly it's not enough. You're forever chasing something dangling just inches from your nose. And before you know it, you're 70 years old, wondering where your life went. I did it myself. I spent 30 years climbing the corporate ladder, only to realize at the top that the ladder was leaning against the wrong wall. And by then, you can't just climb down and start over. Time doesn't work that way. Here is what they don't tell you while you're young. Success is a terrible goal. I say this as a man who achieved everything he set out to. I became a partner at the firm, I bought the mansion, I earned the respect, and you know what? It didn't mean a thing. You reach the goal, you feel like a king for exactly 48 hours. Then the feeling fades. You return to baseline and you need a new fix, a bigger goal. It's a hamster wheel. A friend of mine died 3 years ago. He was 68. He was a 70-hour-a-week grind his entire life. He built a business empire, never took a real vacation. He kept saying, "Next year I'll slow down." Next year came, and a stroke took him out. At the funeral, his son said, "My father was a successful man, but I barely knew him." Is that the legacy you want? Your regrets won't be about the mistakes you made. They'll be about the things you didn't do at all. I don't lie awake at night thinking about failed business deals. That's all dust. Do you know what keeps me up? The trip to Japan I never took because I was too busy. The relationship with my brother that I let fall apart. The book I dreamed of writing but never started. The time I stole from my children because I was staying late at the office. That's what eats at you. The missed opportunities, the roads not taken, the love you didn't confess, the risks you didn't take because of fear.
The people you love, your parents, your siblings, your friends, you think they'll be there forever. They won't. One day their time will expire. My father died when I was 45. We had a complicated relationship, and I was always too busy to fix it. I thought I'd clear my schedule and then we'd talk. The chance never came. Heart attack. It was over in a couple of hours. And you know what I regret most? All those Sundays I didn't call him. All the dinners I was too lazy to drive to. The little things I let slip through my fingers. Later might not exist. After my own heart attack, I changed everything. I stepped back from work, I started saying no to things that didn't matter, and I started saying yes to things I'd been putting off for decades. In these last 21 years, I've learned more about life than in the 52 years prior. What actually matters is ridiculously simple. Time with the people you love. Work that gives you a sense of purpose. Experiencing emotions rather than owning things. Creating memories. Being here, right now. I know it sounds like a cliche. If I were your age, I'd probably roll my eyes. Sure, old man, but I've got bills to pay. And yes, you do. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm saying don't sacrifice the essential for the sake of the secondary. Ask yourself a question and answer it honestly. If you died tomorrow, would you be happy with how you lived? Not with how your obituary reads, not with how much you earned, but would you personally be satisfied? If the answer is no, what are you waiting for? What is so important that you're willing to gamble your one and only life on it? I'm 73, I was lucky to keep my health after that scare, but every morning I wake up knowing I'm living on borrowed time. The truth is, we're all living on borrowed time. But young people don't get that. They think they're immortal. I have 3 grandkids. Looking at them, I see the same thing I see in most young people today. They're stressed, they're anxious, they're chasing things that won't bring them happiness. They're repeating my mistakes. I try to tell them, to share my experience, but you know what? They can't hear me. Not because they're bad kids, but because they're in the middle of the storm. They can't see the big picture yet. They think their situation is unique and the old rules don't apply to them. That's why I'm making this video, because maybe if enough people hear this, just one person will actually listen. Someone will make a different choice. Someone will avoid the regrets I live with. You are approaching death. No one likes to think about it, but your time limit isn't infinite, and neither is the time of those you love. Your parents are getting older every single day. One day, likely sooner than you think, they'll be gone. Friends, spouses, children, nothing is permanent. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep putting off that phone call, postponing that trip, lying to yourself that you'll find time later? Or will you wake up today and start living like your time is limited, because it is? If I could go back to my 30-year-old self, this is what I'd say. Stop trying to impress people who don't care about you. Stop killing your health for a career. Stop postponing joy for someday. Stop waiting for permission to live the life you want. Start calling your parents. Buy the tickets. Chase the dreams. Do the things that scare you. Learn to say no to obligations that drain you, and yes to what fills you with life. And most importantly, start now. Not next year, not when the project is finished, now. Because I promise you, the perfect moment will never come. Life will always be complicated, messy, and full of reasons to wait. But if you wait, one day you'll wake up and realize you waited your whole life away. I'm 73. If I'm lucky, I have another 10 or 15 years, maybe 20 if I'm really lucky, but probably less. And I'm at peace with that, because these last 21 years have been the richest of my life. Not because of money, but because I finally started living intentionally. I saw the places I dreamed of. I got close to my kids and grandkids. I took up hobbies I used to brush off. I forgave old grudges. I've said, "I love you" 1,000 times. In its irony, when you realize time is finite, you finally start to really live. You stop wasting it. You stop deferring happiness. The choice is yours, right now, today. You can keep living the way you've been living, chasing success and waiting for better times. Or you can wake up. You can realize that the sand is slipping through the hourglass faster than you think, and that the life you keep putting off needs to start today. I can't make that choice for you, but I can tell you this. You don't want to be a 73-year-old man looking back, wishing you could do it all over again. Don't take 52 years to figure this out. Learn from my mistakes. Live intentionally. Set your priorities. Forget the word someday. Someday is today. It always has been. If this resonated with you, share this video. Write in the comments what you are going to do differently starting today. Subscribe, because I still have more to say, and time is short. The clock is ticking. What are you going to spend your time on? Don't be in a rush to turn this off. Just sit there for a moment and think.